I'm back. Okay, well, in this series of up close and personal guitars, I'm covering a lot of different brands of guitars and things like that. And anybody who looks at the channel, Tony Mckenzie.com on YouTube, will see that I made a few guitars, and among the guitars that I did make, I want to do an up close and personal on those guitars, or at least on a couple of three of them. And the reason for that is that if you don't want to actually go and learn how to make one, well, you can just come and look at this and see the result, and I'll talk you through, yeah, and what I tried to achieve and how the result came out. So I think it's worthwhile doing. Some of these guitars, great looking guitars, great sounding guitars too. So if you do go to my channel and you don't want to see how to build it, like I said, you can go and listen to them often. You'll hear them being played on the channel. So through different amps, usually tube amps. I'm not really that much of a fanatic of some of the other stuff, but the only other one you might ever hear it through is Kemper, and that's a great tool. Some of that other stuff are just tools. Okay, well, let's lift the lid. A lot of guys have seen this one, but they've never really seen it in an up close and personal video that I'm doing a whole series of. Here it is. Yeah, it's blue. That's what I call it, blue. And this guitar was made to exacting standards, in fact, with no expense spared at all. So let's fish it out of the case and let's go and have that up close and personal view of blue. It's an awesome guitar. Here we go. Well, here it is, out of the can. Fabulous instrument. I intended to make this the best Strat in the world. Whether it is or it isn't is a subjective thing. But for me, it's no less than one of the best looking Strats in the world. I always say that. But some of the others have their own features, which you're going to see on some of the other up close and personal reviews of some of the instruments. So let's get the camera in and focus on this body and talk about what this guitar is really all about. Just hold on a moment. Well, here it is, and that's one of the things about this guitar. As soon as you look at it, you know this thing's something different. I set out to build positively the best guitar that I could ever make. I say build, it's more of an assembly. Some of these luthier types, you know, you've seen them. I guess they've got something to gain if they knock this one. Oh, we can do better type of thing. But don't worry about any of that. That's just a perception. Whether it's, quote, better is another story. And I'm not so sure it is better. Different, but not better. Anyway, here we go. Let's take a look. What we've got is this body was a Warmoth body. It was made to the standards that I required, not the standards that Warmoth required. I said do this, do that, do the other. First thing I said was use this top. So this top was a chosen top. It's not one of those that you just pick up. Let's just slide that down a little bit. That's it. It's not one of those you just pick up. It cost a fair amount of money to get this particular top put on this body. It's a maple top, and it's a what they call swamp ash. Swamp ash body. No such a thing as swamp ash. There's ash and there's ash. so it's a maple over ash body, and it's hollow actually. If you go and look on the Warmoth website, you'll see how they do that. Well, what it makes is it makes for a very, very exceedingly light guitar, and trust me, there's very little lighter than this guitar. It really is a very light guitar. In fact, I stressed that to them when I ordered it. Well, what else we got on here? Well, we've got one of those Super V's on here, this tremolo. A Blade Runner by Super V, it says here. And it comes with a very specific handle or arm. You can adjust the tightness of this. And how you do that is you push this in, push it forward, and there's a little allen-key under the back that you can just tighten up, slacken. So that's all very nice, just pushes in like that, tightens down very nicely. You can see it sort of hovers where you want it to, and it'll do that when it's standing up too. Screw that in, and then you've got your Super V stuff. There you go. Fantastic, and recommended those are, by the way. Let me take this back out. Okay, that's that out of the way. The Super V doesn't work on on the end of screws that you might think, like the old Fender stuff. How it actually works is this piece and this piece are separated by a piece of very thin, flexible spring steel. It's all been gilded and the rest of it, and it just works on the flexibility of that spring steel against the the springs on the back of the trem, just like anything else. So these four here, instead of having six, you've only got four. What's great about that first is that you can fit this to any Strat, any 6-string Strat, but they do versions for the 2-prong things and all the rest. But I had it drilled a 6-hole tremolo, the old-fashioned vintage one, because I could have fitted something else on there. As it happens, I didn't. I fitted this. Well, let's move a bit further. There's nothing strange or dodgy about the electronics on this, by the way. They're all absolutely exactly what you'd expect from a Strat, so there's very little to talk about there. You've got your volume, your tone and your tone, and nearly anybody knows how them work. Moving on to the pickups, what we actually have are Seymour Duncan Antiquity 2s, I think that's what they're called, and these are Hot 54, that's what he describes them as. And when you buy them and get them out of the box, they do look like really old pickups. They look a bit more modern, I guess, once they're in this, but when you see the wiring and the rest that goes with them, you can see that Seymour spent a bit of time aging them. Can you tell? No. So don't waste your money on the aged ones, no real point. Well, the other thing I did was to find these these gilded brass things, and fit them around the pickups, because I didn't want any unsightly holes with them just stuck onto the body, because there's no pick guard or scratch plate on this guitar. So to me, those were a necessity. To you, they may not be. I like them. You may or may not. If you don't, guess what? I don't care. It's that simple. So that's that little thing covered. I've covered this. Everybody knows what that is. Let's move on to the neck and take a look at why I chose this neck and what that's all about. Hold on. Well, I can tell you straight off that this neck is an original Fender neck. I don't make necks, and neither do Warmoth. Well, they make them, but not as I want them. So I'll steer clear of Warmoth necks. I only ever bought one. I'll never buy another. That's just because I don't like them. I don't think they come anywhere near this neck for similar money. So, genuine Fender neck. This is a Jeff Beck neck, not one of the old, club type necks that were big and fat things on the Jeff Beck Series 1. This is one of the newer ones. I think this neck's 2011 or early 2012. So it's a relatively brand new neck. It had never been played, so we'll call it a brand new neck. You'll notice at one end it's got those roller nuts. That's what Jeff Beck likes to have, and they do work. And in conjunction with that thing down there, the tremolo, it works very well on this guitar. So you don't get much gain out of tune and that sort of stuff. The Super V does a great job. Let's have a look at the headstock. Now, when I did build this guitar, I said earlier that there'd be no expense spared. Well, I couldn't source one of these rollers actually in gold, so that had to stay sort of chrome, sort of silver, or call it what you will. But I did get the chrome tuners to go on this. They didn't come with it. I don't even know whether Jeff Beck's have got gold tuners. Don't really care either. Doesn't matter. The neck itself is faultless. It's a fantastic feel. It's not easy to describe, but I'd call it like a 62 neck, Fender 62 neck. Very similar. Completely finished to the highest level, honestly. The neck is an awesome piece of kit. There's his so-called signature. It's basically a transfer. Oops, knocked it. It's a transfer, as is this one. Made in USA. Well, it is made in USA. At least you can say that on this one. Let's go around the back. Like I said on this one, the locking tuners, the gold. Not much more to say about them, except that when you're trying to buy them, they cost the earth. I guess if you're trying to sell them, you get nothing for them. That's the way it goes with music kit. It's a US serial number. It's a US neck. Feels great, honestly. It's a fantastic neck. Let's look at the main chunk of the back of the neck, and then we'll move on to the back of the body. Like I said earlier, it's basically a 62 profile. In my view, it is, at least. It's what you'd expect. It's nothing special about it really, except that it's made well. It's got the skunk stripe down it. Hard to say, trust me. And that's it. Awesome neck. Recommended. If you're going to build one anytime, get one of them. Brilliant neck. Okay, I know. It says SRV on the back of the neck plate. I'm not an SRV, and I just had a gold neck plate made, and they said, well, what do you want on the back? So I said, oh, what can I have? And they said, well, we got this, we got that. You can have SRV if you want. I said, why not? Don't worry, it stands for Stevie Ray Vaughan. Let's look at the back of the body. You can see it's got a very deep cutout, like those earlier ones, and it's got ground on it, which is nice to have. I've only got 3 springs on this one because the blade doesn't really need hyper spring tension, especially when I'm running 9 strings, so it's not really necessary to have 5 springs on there, as some people do. One thing you will notice is this tapers off down here, so the neck's thinner here than it is, for example, here. So it's just so you can get around the neck a bit better when you're at the top end playing. That was a feature that was worth doing. Under the cover are all the electronics. If you've ever seen any of the ways that I build guitars, this one's got the copper underneath it and all the shielding and all the rest, so you don't get any interference from other kit. And really that's it for around the back. I've got one more thing I want to talk about on the front to do with the neck, and then we'll have a bit of a summing up, but that's basically close up and personal. That's as close up and personal as you're probably ever going to get to this guitar. Well, here I am back around the front. Yeah, the one thing I did want to talk about was this neck, and if you look carefully down here, you can see that it sits very near to the top of the body. Now, if we were building a regular Strat with this pick guard and all the rest, with this neck as it is at the moment, you can imagine that the pick guard wouldn't actually fit underneath the neck, as they do, in fact, on a regular Strat. Well, there's good reason for that. What that's all about is when you have this machined here, they have what they call a .720 neck profile, or drop. It basically takes the neck downwards by 0.720, which is quite nice. So what you end up with is a no big fat gap here underneath this. So if you're making a guitar that doesn't have a pick guard or scratch plate, some people call them, then you want to do the 720 neck drop so that you get a really nice neck fit around this area. Whoops, it's playing. It plays by itself. Yeah, so that's basically that, and I just wanted to cover that. And lastly, this is just a masked out thing around the body on the maple, just like our PRS. Oh, I don't think invented it, he just used it. Well, so did I. Let's go and have another chat. I'm back. Well, there she is, Blue, as I like to call it. It's a great guitar. It's great for blues. It's great for the sort of empty rooms type of thing, and loads of that style. It's also great when you play it clean as well. Very nice guitar. So it was a no expense spared. I had every feature that I could think about without going ridiculous on wiring for different switching and things like that. I didn't want that on this guitar. What I wanted was a guitar that was really, really, really well put together, and that's what I got. It's a great guitar. Many people have seen it on the internet. They've looked at the way it's built, and if you have an interest in that, go onto my channel and you can see this whole thing being built from scratch, where you're literally pulling the parts out the boxes and putting it together, assembling it. Some people will say building it, others will say. I say building it because there is actually an element of skill involved in building the thing and getting the things as you want them. not as some other character wants you to do them for him, and it's your guitar. You know what I mean? Well, this is one of the guitars in the series, like I said. Actually, the next one up is the last guitar I built in the series. Again, it's one I've done. It's still a Strat style, but it's completely different than this guitar. And once again, if you go onto the channel, you'll see that other guitar on the channel being played, or you can watch it being assembled. It's really a great experience if that's what you want to do. If it's not what you want to do, well, it's not a great experience. That's just life. So there's Blue. The next one up will be interesting, like I said. That's it for now. If you want to know anything else about this guitar or any of the other things that you see on the YouTube or my channel, anywhere I've been involved in the videos, just go to www.tinymckenzie.com and check it all out. The site's a little bit out of date with these latest products, or some of these latest products, simply because of time. But I do intend to get the site up to date, and every review on that site, you know, I've got reviews on the site that aren't even covered on YouTube at all, and that's the way it will always stay. So you really do want to go and have a look at the website. Till next time, rock and roll.